Welcome, DBAs. As your senior mentor and a Microsoft Azure SQL Database expert, I've put together this explainer to serve as your pre-lab briefing. My goal today is to give you a really clear, conceptual overview so you're totally prepared for your upcoming hands-on deployment of Azure SQL Database Geo-Replication for AdventureWorks. You'll be jumping right into those hands-on labs as soon as we finish this briefing, so definitely pay close attention to the concepts we're about to map out. Let's get into it.
Here is our game plan for today. Number 1, the DBA's mission. Number 2, setting up the environment. Number 3, enabling the Geo-Replica. Number 4, forcing a database failover. And finally, number 5, essential resource cleanup.
Okay, Section 1, the DBA's mission.
Right out of the gate, our primary goal here is establishing high availability. And that brings us straight to our core terminology. Today, you are going to be configuring a Geo-Replica. Now, simply put, this is just a readable secondary database standing by in an entirely different Azure region. Think of it as your ultimate safety net. If our primary region suffers some sort of massive failure, like, say, a major power grid outage or a natural disaster, this geo-secondary is exactly what keeps AdventureWorks online and doing business without missing a beat. Moving right along, Section 2, setting up the environment. Your lab is going to kick off with 3 very straightforward linear setup steps. First, you'll fire up Visual Studio Code and clone the Microsoft DP-300 lab files right from GitHub. Second, you'll open an integrated terminal and authenticate into the Azure CLI using the AZ login command. And finally, you'll execute a provided PowerShell deployment script. As DBAs, you know we absolutely love automation, and this script ensures our baseline environment is built perfectly and identically every single time. Now, a quick heads up here. Keep your eyes glued to that terminal when you run the script because it's automatically doing a ton of heavy lifting for you. It's going to create a resource group called Contoso RG over in the West US2 region. It'll add your current public IP to the SQL firewall rules, and most importantly, it generates a highly complex 12-character admin password. You absolutely must copy down this server name, username, and password for the later steps. If you don't, well, you're going to find yourself locked out of your own lab. All right, Section 3, enabling the Geo-Replica. Once you're in the Azure portal, you'll navigate to your primary database, look under the Data Management section, and just hit Replicas. Azure actually makes this configuration incredibly seamless. Your primary database details are already locked in there, so your only job is to provision the secondary server. You'll do that by giving it a globally unique name, selecting a completely different geographic region, and then using SQL Authentication. Make sure you punch in that secure admin login you copied down just a minute ago. Next up, Section 4, forcing a database failover. Before we touch anything or trigger any sort of failover, it is totally vital to verify your starting states. In the portal, your primary database should be listed as online, meaning, it's fully handling all your read and write operations. Your brand new Geo-Replica, on the other hand, is just going to be listed simply as readable. To kick things off, you'll navigate over to the secondary server, click that little 3-dot menu, and select Forced Failover. In the UI, it's literally just the click of a button. But as professional DBAs, we have to ask ourselves, what does that actually mean for our active applications and our end users? Well, Azure is actually going to throw a warning at you right away, and it highlights a crucial production reality. When those database roles switch, all active user sessions connected to the database are abruptly disconnected. Because of this drop, your applications must absolutely have intelligent retry logic built right into their code so they can handle this momentary blip and seamlessly reconnect to the new primary database. Once you click Yes to accept that warning, just watch the status progression in the portal. You'll see the primary replicas switch over to pending, and the secondary switches to failover. Now, since the AdventureWorks database we're using in this lab is pretty tiny, this role swap is going to be incredibly fast. But keep in mind, in a real live production environment with terabytes of data, this process can actually take a few minutes. Once it's all complete, the roles are completely swapped.
Finally, Section 5, essential resource cleanup.
A good DBA never leaves a mess behind. Your lab provides a couple of distinct cleanup paths depending on how you set things up initially. The absolute easiest route is to just delete the entire Contoso RG resource group, which basically just wipes out everything we built today. But if you happen to deploy this into a pre-existing resource group, you'll need to be a bit more surgical about it. You want to search for resources using your specific SQL Server name prefix and just delete those. Oh, and don't forget to delete that c/lab files folder on your local machine just to keep your own workspace perfectly tidy.
All right, you are now fully briefed and completely ready to conquer this hands-on lab.
But as you log into Azure and manually click your way through these portal steps today, I want you to keep the bigger picture in mind. Ask yourself this: if we were managing not just one single database, but hundreds of them for a massive global enterprise, how would we automate this entire failover process tomorrow? Keep that thought in the back of your mind as you jump into the hands-on lab right now. Good luck and have fun building.
Hey everyone, in this section of DP-300 Database Administrator Labs, we'll go through Lab 14, which is configured geo-replications for Azure SQL Database. I'll share this GitHub link so that you can follow when you do into your lab environment. And also make sure that you downloaded all the required files for this lab. So in this lab, we will set up geo-replication so that we can test a manual fail to another region using the portal. So let me start the lab. So here I have already downloaded all the files. Let's go to the files. And select open in Windows Terminal. Now connect to Azure using Azure CLI. So we need to open sign in window, select that one, your account type, and log into using Azure Portal ID password here. You can use both password or temporary access pass. Select sign in. Select no this app only. And it is getting the collecting the information, subscription name, ID, and tenant. So press enter. Now after logging in, I'm going to create a database server and database using a PowerShell script. So that is script, if you go to labs and setup, and there is a PowerShell script and where you can modify parameters value. So let me execute the command. So first command is change directory. Go to that setup directory and then execute this PowerShell script. Press enter. So when that is in progress, let me connect to Azure portal. So now here we can see that when deployment completed, we can see the resource group name, we can see the SQL Server name, though I think that the template that is provided within this lab, there are some issues that it's not giving the full name. Also, it's missing the database name and sqladmin username, but password entry is there. So now let's go to Azure portal. So now here, go to resource group. And select the database. And on left side, you can see the data management section. Expand that one. And you can see that there is a replicas option. So click on replicas. And currently there is no replicas found, so select that create replica. And here it's giving a message that we need to select resource group, primary database region, then replica configuration section. You can see that there is a two options, geo-replica, and another one is standby replica. In our case, we are going to do that geo-replica setup. So replica type. Now, next section is geo-secondary database details. This section, select the subscription and select the resource group. And you can see the database name will be same in replica side, that for it's grayed out. Then it's coming and that select the server name. So here we are going to create a new. So select that create new. So here give a server name. And select a different region. In our case, first one is West US. So this time we are going to select that East US. We can open in a new tab just to confirm. And from the overview, that database, we can see that is on West US. So this time we are going to use East US. And select that allow Azure services to access server. But this is for our lab purpose we are selecting, but in actual production environment we will not allow this one. It will be more restricted access to that server. And authentication method, here we are going to select that uh, SQL authentication. So here is a server admin login. So give a login name. So type SQL admin and give a password, complex password. You can see the requirements here. And then select OK. So after that, we have give this database details. Now here you can see that want to use SQL like Elastic Pool. Select no. Then compute and storage, and this has got general purpose. Gen 5 to 32 GB storage. Then backup storage redundancy. So there are different options available. We are selecting geo redundant storage, backup storage. Then click on review plus create. We are not modifying any other section for our lab purpose, but in actual environment you may need to. So there is networking, there is additional settings that you can set that up. So like Defender, you can start a trial version, start the trial period for 15 USD after per server per month. So click on review plus create option. When that is done, select create. It may take few minutes to let me back. When that is ready, I can see that deployment in progress. So you can see that deployment is complete. So select go to resources. From here, you can see the uh, secondary servers database. Here you can see that the ES2S that we created. So next we are going to do failover SQL database to a secondary region. So here in the secondary server region we are in. So now go to data management section and select replicas here. It's loading. And here you can see that replicas information here like primary and geo-replica. One that is primary is OS2S and replica is East-US. And you can see the first one is state is online and second one is readable. Now, so geo-replica, you can go to ellipsis option, that secondary. If I select, and you can see the different options are available that convert to standby stop replications, also force failover or failover. So we want to like that something happened, we would like to go to different region like secondary, we would like to make a primary. So we can just select that forced failover. So forced failover will switch the secondary database as a primary role. So what will happen? You can here you can see that online and readable. That time this will be online. So let me do that one. Select that forced failover, and you can see that there is a message that what is going to happen. Like the old primary will automatically become the new secondary if it's online, and all TDS sessions will be disconnected. The operation may cause data loss. So you need to be aware of that one. So are you sure you want to proceed? For our lab purpose, we are selecting yes, but in actual environment, you need to make sure that all the application jobs are stopped, nothing is going on. Then you can do this one to avoid any data loss. So select that yes. So you need to make a proper window for changing that one. So here it's saying request submitted for failover operations. Now refresh that one. Now here you see now East-US become online. So that means this is primary now, and secondary, like which was primary, that become readable database. So that has been changed. So for this lab, that was the thing that to see the create a replica and then fail over to the target server. If you have any questions, add that into comment sections. Otherwise, see you into next lab.